Good afternoon. It's Manuela Siebert from Ausbaya Immigration Australia. Welcome to the Monday Live. I'm the founder and director of Ausbaya Immigration Australia, formerly known as Northern Immigration Australia. And every now and then I have a slip of the tongue, and because our name was Northern Immigration Australia for 5 years. And recently we rebranded and now we're called Ausbaya Immigration Australia. So as you can see, the topic today is July changes and update. That was the winning topic of today's live. We had, like always, 3 different topics to choose from. Prospective marriage visa options for health professionals, and then the July changes and updates. So I'm just waiting for people to jump online. As usual, let me know, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, a like on Instagram and Facebook. We are live on both channels, and then we'll put the recording up on to our YouTube channel as well. And also when you have liked the live, you can also share it if you like on your page, and let me know where you're joining us from. Let me know the city and the country. I am on the beautiful Gold Coast in Queensland on the east coast of Australia. And we just last week had a lockdown, COVID lockdown for 3 days. Brisbane was 4 days, was a little bit longer. But yeah, we are now out of the lockdown and still quite a lot of restrictions, but at least there's no lockdown. Okay, so because I want to really keep it short and sweet and brief, especially for, everyone who's online and also for the people who are watching the recording. If you're watching the recording, then please leave a comment with a hashtag replay. And also, if you're here on the live, then congratulations, because that means that you can get to ask me questions. And I give you the answer if I know the answer. And if it's not too complex or too personalized, okay, because I'm not able to give you personalized advice during this live. But try me, just put your question in the comments and then I'll get to them, okay? So as I talk, and if you have any questions or comments, then just put it in the comments and we'll get to it. Excellent. So why am I talking about the July changes and updates? Well, because in Australia we have the financial year in Australia is always from the 1st of July until the 30th of June. Yeah, I know in other countries it's different. So for example, where I'm from in Germany, our financial year is like the calendar year. It's from the 1st of January until the 31st of December. And in Australia though, it's different. It's 1st of July until the 30th of June. So now what happens on the 1st of July, everything changes. And, some years there's more change than others. So this year, so today is the 5th of July. So we're just, a few days into the new financial year. So this financial year, the fees have increased. This is probably one of the biggest changes. Yeah, so there is the consumer price index of 1.75%. So most visas have increased in fees by 1.75%. Now that is not a lot, and that is actually also quite standard, okay? Because it's just what happens with regards to the consumer price index. So, the visa application charges, they have increased. Citizenship fees have increased. Administrative appeals tribunal fees have increased, as well as the Federal Circuit Court fees have increased as well. Yeah. So the AAT, the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, the lodgement fee has actually increased significantly, so by a lot more than just 1.75%. So now so AAT is when you have a visa refused and you want to appeal the decision. And so the AAT fees to lodge an application is now $3,000. It used to be just under $1,800, and now it's $3,000. Also, skills assessment fees have also increased. TRA, Trades Recognition Australia, it's for all the trades occupations, they will be increasing their fees on the 1st of September. So I recommend, if you are eligible, and it doesn't matter if you're onshore or offshore, you can lodge your application, then do it now. Yeah, we can also assist with skills assessments, so please reach out to us if you have any questions. So if you want to book in for a consultation, as well as we can assist with the whole process, with the whole application process. Great. Okay. So visa application charges, just as an example, again, I have my notes here to keep it short and sweet, and so that I don't forget anything. And I'm just going to read this off my notes. So the partner visa is now, as of the 1st of July, $7,850. So that's just increased by the 1.75%, not by a lot. And skilled visas such as for subclass 190 and 491 is $4,115. Again, has just increased by a little bit, not a lot. Student visa has increased by $10. So instead of $620, it is now $630. So really the big increases have happened with citizenship. That's doubled, but citizenship is $490. So it's manageable in regards to fees compared to other fees, and the AAT. But then, it's just, it is what it is with the fees. With regards to the AAT, we can maybe have another session on that, because I don't think we have had the AAT as a topic yet. With regards to topics, also feel free to suggest topics. So put it in the comments if you have any ideas, or if you have a topic that you would like me to talk about. I think AAT is a good one. I did have one live where I talked about Section 48 bar, so if a visa is refused. But I'm more than happy to do a live on AAT and the whole process. Excellent. Okay, I'm just checking if I have any comments just yet. Maybe I need to refresh my page. Just doing that. Meanwhile, keep giving me plays, showing me love, giving me a like, share the live. It may be of use for other people. And I have not got any comments just yet. Okay, great. So moving on. With regards to visa changes, so the visa that has changed the most is, or the visa type that has changed the most is the Business Innovation and Investment Program. Yeah, so this is the business and investor visa streams. So there have been changes in regards to the streams. Some have ceased taking on applications. There has been, again, increases in regards to thresholds and asset amounts and so on. I will also offer to do a separate live on the Business Innovation and Investment Program. So today is really just an overview, and if there is anything that you want to explore more or learn more, then it's best to reach out to us. So send us a message. You can send us a DM on Instagram, on Facebook. You can also send us an email. You can go to our website. There is an inquiry form. You can call us. So there's lots of different options how you can reach us, and then we can arrange an appointment with you for a consultation where we can provide you with personalized advice. You can either book an appointment with me, or you can book an appointment with one of my team members. So I lead a team of lawyers, migration agents, and education agents. So, the focus of the financial year, which has just started on the 1st of July, is the skill stream. Why is that? Why is the Australian government focusing on the skill stream? Well, because of COVID. So the Australian economy has suffered during COVID, and now the Australian government and the Department of Home Affairs, they are trying to navigate Australia through this crisis. And with regards to visas, they are focusing on 3 priority categories. Yeah, so that is the business, innovation and investment program, which I just mentioned, where there have been changes, and I will be offering a live specifically on that. And the second category is the global talent visa program. I have been offering lives. It hasn't really got many votes, but I'd really recommend to work for that topic when you see it next on our list of choice. Because it is a very good visa if you are eligible for it, because you can apply for it from offshore and onshore, and this is definitely a way to migrate and get permanent residency in Australia. So the third stream is employer-sponsored program. So of course the economy has suffered. Employers, they are needing staff. We have a shortage of skilled workers in Australia, and employers are encouraged to sponsor migrants. Obviously, first employ Australians. However, if there's no Australians and there is just not enough Australians with these kind of skills, then they can sponsor a migrant from overseas. And I did a live, the previous live last week was about the priority migration skilled occupation list. Okay, so that is the list with the 41 occupations that can migrate to Australia, although borders are still closed. Okay, basically the 3 priority categories are about investment, talent, and critical skills. And with these 3 elements, the Australian government is building up the Australian economy. Great. I can see a few comments. So one is on Instagram from Helen. I think Helen is suggesting a topic. How much experience do you need for different job for state-sponsored visas? Yeah, that's a great topic. It is a little bit vague because I think it makes sense if we focus on a specific occupation, or at least a specific group of occupations. So one of the topics for today that I suggested was visas for health professionals. Didn't get many votes, and hence I'm not talking about that one today. I'm talking about the changes which got the most votes. I'll take that into account and on notice, and we'll offer that as a topic in the near future. Then we got someone on Facebook asking about Section 48 bar. So whenever someone is Section 48 barred, that means they had a visa refused. So it means someone has applied for a visa while they were in Australia and it was refused while they were in Australia. And that means Section 48 of the Migration Act applies, and that person is not able to apply for a new visa while on shore. There's a few exemptions. There's a few visas that they can apply for. However, the majority of visas, you're not able to apply for them. So what needs to happen is the person that is Section 48 barred and had the visa refused, they need to go offshore. So they need to go outside of Australia, and then they can apply for the new visa. And then once it's approved, they can return to Australia. Yeah, I did do a live on Section 48. So Gurjinder Singh on Facebook, go to our library, to our video library, either on Facebook or on Instagram. It's on the IGTV library, Monday Live, and that's where you can see all the lives, and that there's one about the Section 48, so I talk about that one. So you're more than welcome to watch that. You're welcome. Great. Any other questions? I can't see any other questions. So just keep the comments and the likes coming, please. If you just joined, please give me a like for this live so other people see that we are live and that they can join. Yeah, the more the merrier, so they say here in Australia. All right. Some other things that I want to talk about are the planning levels. So every financial year, so there is a budget, and there's also, in regards to immigration, there's planning levels. So this is where the government is planning as to how many migrants and how many visas they are approving, okay, and how many places they are making available. Now, what they have decided for this financial year, 2021 to 2022, is that they're actually going to take the same figures as they had last financial year. And so the numbers from previous year were, in total, there was 160,000 permanent migration places. 160,000. And that is split into pretty much two major categories. One is the skilled visas and the other one is family visas. Yeah, family visas meaning partner visas, spouse visas, and parent visas and child visas. So these are the two majority or the two major categories in regards to the planning levels of the migration program in Australia. And of course there's others, but that's the two major ones. So 160,000. How good would it be if you would get one of those places? If you would be the lucky person who gets one out of those 160,000 places. Imagine to get your permanent residency in Australia. Actually, for everyone who is online now, let me know, are you onshore or are you offshore? Are you in Australia or are you outside of Australia? That would be interesting to know if you are, because it is definitely easier if you're already in Australia. But like I said last week, so last week's live, if you haven't watched it, then I definitely recommend watching it. That is where I talked about the priority skills list. Yeah, so currently there's 41 occupations. So go and check out my live from last week and see if your occupation is part of that list, because if it is, there may be a chance that you're able to migrate to Australia. Which brings me to the topic of Australian borders. So the Australian borders are still closed. Yeah, they have been closed since March 2020. So it has been a while. And look, there is no date set yet to reopen the borders. We're watching this space every single day. We do get news from the department and also our regulating body and the Migration Institute of Australia. However, there is no date yet. Trust me, if I would know the date, you would be the first people who would know, who I would tell. So we don't know yet when they will open the borders. However, there is rumors that because now there's vaccines available around the world, so people getting vaccinated in different places in the world as well as in Australia. So lots of governments are encouraging people to get vaccinated. And look, there is no official statement saying that you have better chances to migrate to Australia if you are vaccinated. I'm not saying that, and there is no official statement about that. But yeah, that is kind of what people consider going forward in regards to migration and in regards to who is able to enter Australia. Currently, how it works is you need to apply for a travel exemption. Yeah. So even if you have a visa approved and if you're offshore outside of Australia, you still need a travel exemption to be able to enter Australia. So travel exemptions, they are, well, not, they're not time consuming or they're not complicated as such. However, you need to have compassionate and compelling reasons why you have to enter Australia. Yeah. Again, myself and my team can help with that. So we have helped people. They've tried themselves, did the applications for the travel exemption, and then eventually they came to us and got professional assistance. Yeah. Like with anything in life, sometimes it's just better if you at least get advice by a migration agent, by a professional, by someone who is like doing that every day, all day, as a career, as a profession, and in my case, as a business. And yeah, so I recommend if you have been applying for travel exemptions and you have been unsuccessful, then it's definitely worth it to book in for a consultation. That means we can look into your case, we can look into your previous applications, and then we can make recommendations, and we can also give you a quote as to, how much we would charge in order to help you and assist you with the travel exemption. If you think about it like an investment in your future, then the money is well spent. Yeah. And we have had a lot of success with regards to these travel exemptions. Okay. Having said that, it is a case-by-case basis. Okay, so every case is different. If you check in the live library, I'm pretty sure I did a Monday live for travel exemptions, which is a while ago. It's still relevant, and I may be actually doing an updated live. I'll put that on my little list. What else I want to say? Oh yeah, the last topic that I want to raise or want to just mention is about international students. And before I say what I want to say, I'm just checking about comments. So here we've got Wayne on Facebook is saying, my wife in Vietnam applied for spouse carer visa. They said no one to come to Australia yet. That is bizarre because we've had people coming to Australia because they were partners of Australians. And Wayne, I understand you are an Australian citizen because I know you've been joining pretty much every live, or at least watched the recording. So I'm familiar with you and your name. And I have also suggested to you on many occasions to book a consultation with us. So I'm pretty sure that we could help you and your wife if you would book a consultation. Yeah, because that way we can then assess your case and we can then give you advice and also, again, a quote of services. So, yeah. So usually if someone is married to an Australian, they will be able to enter Australia. They will be able to get the visa and they will also be able to get the travel exemption because partners and children and there's certain categories of people, they are not exempt. However, yes, they get the travel exemption. So basically they have an advantage when it comes to applying for travel exemption. All right. So my assistant just put the link onto the Facebook. Far, are you able to post the link on the Instagram live as well? So that people on Instagram can book an appointment as well. Or look, I mean, you can also go to our bio You can go to a website. So if you want to have a consultation with me and my team, then you will definitely find a way to book that consultation. I'm very positive about that. Excellent, great. Helen commented on Instagram that she is offshore in New Zealand. New Zealand is interesting because that is actually really good, because there is a travel bubble between New Zealand and Australia. So that is pretty much, New Zealand is pretty much the only country where Australia has allowed for people to enter Australia. But as of recent, I mentioned earlier that we had the lockdown. So there was lockdowns. Pretty much most of Australian states were in lockdown. And because of these outbreaks and the lockdowns, there have now been changes in regards to the travel bubble to New Zealand as well. So, that is actually maybe a topic that I could talk about some other time. We can put it on the list of topics to choose from. But New Zealand, you definitely have advantages in regards to migration to Australia. It all depends on your situation, on your occupation, or if you're thinking of coming here as an international student. Also, your status in New Zealand. Are you a New Zealander, or are you from overseas on a temporary visa or permanent visa in New Zealand? So these are all things that we can look at during a consultation, and then we can give you the advice that you need to plan for your future in Australia. Okay, so I did mention it, international students. That is my last point that I'm talking about, and then I will wrap up and we'll keep this live under 30 minutes. Great. So international students, I know that there's lots of international students waiting to return to Australia. Now, there has been returns of students, international students, on several occasions, not many, a few. It is very, very strictly controlled, as you can imagine. However, international students, there is a very good chance that this will be one of the first categories of migrants that will be allowed into Australia. Because all the universities, all the colleges, all the schools, they have been missing out on their international students, on the tuition fees. The economy is pretty much not reliant, but it is a strong pillar of the Australian economy, the education system and the education sector. So international students it's likely that there will be one of the first groups of people that are allowed back into the country. So what we're doing with certain clients, it all depends on your strategy, okay? It all depends on what are your goals. But obviously, if you have an occupation on the priority skills list, then we don't even bother about talking about a student visa, okay? Because the priority skills list, this is something that can get you into Australia very quickly. And you get permanent residency. A student visa is only temporary. However, it is what I call, it can be a stepping stone. So you can start on a student visa, especially if you don't have significant qualifications and or work experience in a certain field that is in demand in Australia. Okay? Again, we are migration agents, lawyers, and education agents, so we can advise you in regards to what courses can you study, because international students, they have to study certain certified courses, okay? They can't just study anything. It needs to be accredited and certified, especially for international students. So we can sit down with you online via Zoom or WhatsApp or Skype. And then we will advise you in regards to what courses can you study, where can you study, what colleges, what universities, how much it costs you, what are the requirements. And then also, because we're not just education agents, we also know the immigration laws, we can then also map out a pathway to permanent residency and in fact citizenship. So our specialty is actually to map out a strategy to get from whenever you enter Australia to citizenship in less than 5 years. So I did that, and I didn't even study in Australia. I studied in Germany, in Europe, and I came here already with my qualifications. However, I didn't have any work experience. I came right after university, after I graduated. And so, I gained my permanent residency in 2 years, less than 2 years, and I gained my citizenship in less than 5 years. And now I'm helping other people, other migrants, to do the same and have a successful immigration journey in Australia. And yes, I know now with COVID, everything is a bit more difficult and there's a lot of changes as well happening. So yes, on the 1st of July, that is when usually all the financial changes are happening. But as you will see when you follow us on social media, there is lots of more changes happening all the time. So not just on the 1st of July. I recommend to follow us to be able to know, okay, when and what has changed, and how does it impact me, and what do I need to do to still progress in my immigration journey, okay? And like I said, when you're ready, when you think, okay, I've done all my research, I've done, everything I could, so now it's time for me to get professional assistance, that's when you reach out to us, and then we can help you with a consultation and then also with assistance. Okay, this is all I had to say. I've gone through my list. Here we go. I'm just over 30 minutes, I believe, or maybe, I'm not quite sure, around about 30 minutes. And I'm just checking any last questions, any last comments before I wrap up and go back to work on this beautiful Monday afternoon. I'm just going to give you a moment. So we've got a comment here on Facebook. Muhammad Said, any chance for enrolled nurse regional Victoria? Absolutely. Nurses and health professionals like nurses and doctors and even aged care workers and childcare workers, anyone who is working directly with vulnerable people such as sick people, children, elderly people, and so on, they're in high demand. They're in high demand in Australia. So, Muhammad, I'm wondering, are you in regional Victoria or would you like to migrate to regional Victoria? For everyone who is not familiar with the geography of Australia, Victoria is the state around Melbourne. So usually people know Melbourne, which is one of the biggest cities in Australia, in the south of Australia, where they have had probably, I would say, the most lockdowns, maybe even the most COVID cases within Australia. Not quite sure. Yes, so you are in regional Victoria working there for 6 months as a enrolled nurse. Wonderful. Muhammad, we would need to find out a lot more from you. So we need to know, okay, what's your current visa? When does it expire? What do you want to achieve? Do you want to just, stay here for some time? Do you want to get your permanent residency? How fast do you want to get your permanent residency? Do you have family? Do you have a partner? Do you have children? All the things. And so how we can do that, Muhammad, is book in for a consultation. You can see in the comments, you can see the link, the booking link, and then just click on that link, and then you can select the day and the time that suits you, and then you can book an appointment and speak with one of my team. And then we can advise you in regards to your visa options, specifically as an enrolled nurse in regional Victoria. Because in regional areas such as regional Victoria and other regional areas such as Northern Territory, such as South Australia, such as Far North Queensland, and so on. So there's lots of other regional areas. There is actually more visa options than in the city centres of Australia. Yeah. So Mohammed, I recommend book in for a consultation and then we can help you. There's one comment on Instagram. Younger Flawless is asking, so caregivers can apply with the July updates. So that depends on a lot of different factors. First of all, are you onshore or offshore? And when you say caregiver, what exactly is your occupation? What are your qualifications? What is your work experience? Do you have an employer in Australia? Can you be sponsored? And so on. Again, I would recommend book in for a consultation, and then we can explain the things, the requirements and the steps. Okay, so you're offshore. Great. Wonderful. Doesn't matter, you can still book in for a consultation, so we can connect with you via Zoom, Skype or WhatsApp, and we can recommend, we can make recommendations and give advice as to what are your options, especially when you're offshore. Yeah, because it's a little bit more complex when you're offshore opposed to being onshore. And then we've got Zoltan on Facebook, and that's the last question I'm taking. Because like I said, I want to keep these brief, short and sweet. So, but please feel free to keep your comments coming, because as you will notice, we always answer your questions. Yeah, we always comment back. We reply to your comments. Okay, so the last one is Zoltan. We would like to ask aged care workers with Certificate 3 and 4 have opportunity to get PR or sponsorship. Yes, not with a Certificate 3 or 4, aged care, well, again, it all depends. So it depends, there's various visa options available, and they all have different requirements, yeah? So Zoltan, I believe we did have a consultation with you in the past, however, that was for a different occupation. I recommend to book in for a consultation for aged care workers, because I understand you're offshore, and it probably, I remember I actually had the consultation with you about your visa options, and I think you may be asking for your wife, who is an aged care worker. So in that case, book in for a consultation, and then we can advise you in regards to aged care workers. Because with you, we talked about specifically about your occupation and the visa options in the Northern Territory under the Dharma program. Again, I did a live. That was one of the first Monday lives actually I did about the Dharma visa program, DAMA, which is available in various regional areas of Australia, including the Northern Territory. Excellent. All right. I can't see any more questions or comments, but like I said, especially if you're watching the recording, please feel free, leave a hashtag saying replay, and then also feel free to leave your questions, your comments. Let us know where you're joining us from. It's always nice to see where people are from. And yeah, I'll see you next Monday. Have a beautiful week. Bye-bye.